Welcome all you whiskey nerds out there. This is Mark from Whiskey Whistle bringing you whiskey review number 24. With us today is the Macallan. This is the second bottle I've done from that distillery. Today we're going to be looking at the Whiskey Maker's Edition. Now, first of all, I'd like to give another big thank you to everybody for all the great comments and also for subscribing. And if you're new to Whiskey Whistle, I do hope you will enjoy it. And if so, why not subscribe? That way you'll keep up with all of the whiskey whistling. Well, let's get right into the pouring, and then we'll talk a little bit about this bottle. Now, if you're curious about the Macallan, you can look back into the Whiskey Whistle files. I believe, oh goodness, now what number was that one? I think it was number 7 or 8. Oh goodness, I should have checked that out. Anyway, so there it is. Quite the bottle. Now, this is another bottle on loan from a very good friend, Aaron. Aaron, if you're watching, thank you so much. If I were you, I would not have let me have this. But you know what? I'll give you something special for that, and you know what's coming already. Okay, so let's give that a nice pour. There we are. That's a healthy one. There we go. Okay, now, well, I'm gonna let that sit for just a minute or two, and we'll talk a little bit about the bottle. So this is the Macallan Whiskey Maker's Edition. And here it says, a delicious single malt layered with fruit and spice. Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. Distilled and bottled by the Macallan Distillers Limited, Easter Elchies, Craigellachie, Scotland. This is 42.8%, which may seem a little bit odd, but apparently until 1980, the UK had a different measuring system which they also called proof, a little bit different from the American proofing system. So this was apparently 75 proof in the old measuring system. And here on the back, crafted by the Macallan whiskey maker for his personal enjoyment and bottled at his preferred strength, this delicious single malt is layered with fruit and spice. And the whiskey maker is none other than Bob. What's on here on the bottle somewhere? Bob Talgarno, I believe is the pronunciation. Hopefully I didn't mess that up. I'm sorry if I did. Anyway, he's been with the distillery for quite a long time. I think since perhaps the early 80s. And, well, this was a one-off created for travel retail, for the duty-free shops. Okay, anything else about this one? Well, according to Bob Telcando, oh gosh, I can't, boy, I gotta keep these things in my head here. Okay, according to him, lots of European oak was used. Now, this is traditionally what the Macallan has used in the past. But also, to round things out, American oak ex-sherry casks have also been used, as well as ex-bourbon, which would also be, of course, American oak. It's a non-age statement whiskey. However, he himself has declared that it is a 12-year-old whiskey, so nothing younger than 12-year-old went into the bottle. However, with some much older whiskeys included too. And he made this to try to resemble the traditional Macallan character, which he said was smooth and sweet and spicy. In the making of this whiskey, a lot of whiskey made with Golden Promise barley has been used. So let's get into the nosing and the tasting. It's unmistakably Macallan. So candied raisins. Quite lovely. There's some vanilla in there. A little more so than the 12-year-old. There's just a dash of peat in there as well. And also honey and dark brown sugar. So quite a sweet nose if you can gather. Lovely. Okay, let's taste that. Cheers to you, Bob. Unmistakably Macallan. Very potent. Some milk chocolate, dried fruits, and a touch of papaya. The finish, there's a little bit of mocha, somewhat mild coffee flavor. There's a sweet maltiness and a candy corn. Those little tiny chewy kind of well, it's a soft candy. I think it's yellow, orange, and brown. Looks like you know, a kernel of corn. The finish is actually quite long, in fact. One more taste before I add a little bit of water. At bottle strength, you will enjoy it. But I think that you'll like the sweetness added from adding some water, which is what I will do now. I'm going to put in a healthy little bit of water, given that it's 42.8% alcohol by volume. And we will roll that around in the glass a little bit. Let that sit for another minute. Well, what else can we share? This is part of the 1824 series, which is slated to replace the standard aged offerings from Macallan. So the sherry casks, the 12 and I think the next one is the 15 and 18 and so on. Those have been replaced by the 1824 series, which includes, I believe, gold and then amber, followed by sienna and ruby. Now, these have apparently done quite beautifully in the European market, as well as in the North American market. But there are a lot of people that are missing the original series, especially the 12-year-old. I guess that was kind of like the the best value for the price. Anyway, so that's part of the series. Again, I mentioned that was a special bottling just for travel retail. I don't think it's available anymore. If you have seen it there in your travels, please let me know. I think that I would certainly like to get a bottle of this because apparently it's just a one-off. So while there could be another Whiskey Makers edition, it would not be this one. It would be maybe a second edition or whatever. Okay. All right. So with water, let's see how we do here. A little less candy. A little more vanilla. Slightly chocolatey as well. Get a little more evaporation going on. Yeah, the candy's still there. Just a little bit less so. The peat is almost non-existent and still full of raisins. These are the dark raisins as well. Well, this is what I wrote earlier. Nougat with pistachio. That's that white sort of squarish sweet that you can get a lot of at Christmas time. So a little bit nutty. But boy, there is no denying the Macallanness of this. I think that if I were to taste the 12 with this side by side, I think there'd be a lot of similarities. I think this one has a little bit more complexity. The 12-year-old has a very excellent, although very sort of, well, let's say, not multi-dimensional, but not one-dimensional either. So what word can I say there? Well, a low number dimensional character to it. This has a little bit more multi-dimensional character. Okay. So let's try that with water. Does become a little bit sweeter. I'm getting a classic American coffee cake with raisins and butter icing. There's a waft of orange throughout there. Of course the milk chocolate and the dried fruits are still there, as is the papaya. The finish has a little bit of a slight dryness to it, still some malt sweetness, and orange marmalade. So that is that. Now I quite like this. I think I enjoy it more than the 12-year-old. Seems to have a longer finish from what I can recall of the 12-year-old. And again, I'm just getting a little bit wider range of flavors here. It's also nice that it is a little bit higher strength than the Macallan that I had, which was 40%. Well, just a good experience overall. The Whiskey Whistle score for Macallan, the Whiskey Makers Edition, is going to be 88 out of 100. So quite a high score for them. I think that if you like Macallan, you will love this, and if you can find it, I would say you should try to get it for yourself. Treat yourself. Christmas is coming up here now, so you should get yourself a little gift because you are special. Anyway, okay, so 88 out of 100, Macallan Whiskey Makers Edition. My name is Mark, and this is what I do here, reviewing whiskeys with you. And please join in next time. Share this with your friends if they like Macallan. And please also subscribe if you've watched all the way till now, because that means you probably like what you've seen. Okay, over and out. We will see you in a few days' time. Take care now.